Okay, good afternoon students. So unit number 2 is embedded networking. So networking is how you are going to interconnect your two or more microcontrollers. Okay, so some in small case embedded system only there will be a single controller, and that single controller will try to get all possible inputs and try to process it and send it through its output. Whereas when you go for a very large scale embedded system like an embedded in automobile, so there will be a master embedded network or master controller, followed by there will be each and every controller will be there. So when there is more number of controllers, then how we are going to communicate between them? So there are, like, we call it as serial communication. Then we know parallel communication. In serial communication there are two types. One is synchronous, another one is asynchronous. Then comes your parallel, and if you are communicating for a very shorter distance, we will go for parallel. Whereas if the distance between the two is more than a particular level, like meters, then we will always go for serial communication, because number of wires required is less in case of serial when compared to parallel. Then comes your CAN bus. I will say what is CAN bus. That is it is a protocol which is used for communication between two controller. Then we will discuss about SPI, serial peripheral interface. Then a popular topology is I2, integrated circuits. And then we will see for need for drivers. Okay, what is driver is some person who is going to carry you from one end to another end. So similar, that is why we call in a public transport you have a bus, we call it as a driver, because instead of all going separately, we will be collected together, put in a particular box and being taken from one location to other. So similar way here, driver is nothing but you will try to carry the signal from one end to another end. Whether the signal can be in parallel or serial, whatever may be, driver is important. So that is what is driver is. So let us start with an introduction. So that since the technology has advanced to a greater level, communication of this digital signal is mandatory. So in an embedded network, so we have so many types of protocols by which you try to communicate with others. Okay, the field of embedded network deals with the network design and topology, hardware design and communication. So for all, we cannot say serial is good. Similarly, we cannot say parallel, or we cannot say CAN or I2C. So depending upon the hardware devices which you are going to use for your embedded, so everything will change. And embedded system engineers today have to access a range of wired and wireless communication also. So you cannot say only we will go with wire. So only if you go with wire, you call it as serial or parallel. Okay, nowadays we go for wireless communication also. So in an automobile, from a particular end to your main controller, even you can go for wireless communication also. Best example is you put a Google map and make your car to drive on Google map. So there you call it as automatic cruise control, where driver is not at all required. So it will try to get the wireless signal from the GPS and try to get the map and it try to travel. So there you need wireless communication also. So in embedded, where you will use both wired and wireless. The effective design of embedded network product requires selection of protocol. See, if I will tell you that advanced protocol is I2C, but it is not that all the embedded product what you develop should be from I2C itself. Okay, so depending upon your product cost, product usability, I will select the protocol. So that is what we say. The effective design is nothing but you have to correctly identify what type of devices which you are going to use for a particular purpose. Okay, then embedded system from the basis of Internet of Things. So now we have in far better than what we are previously using. So nowadays we use internet as a source. So you don't want to specifically go for a separate wireless, rather you use with internet which is available. That is called IoT. The network of devices whose capability depends upon internet connectivity. Okay, again we can see we are facing the same issues in our online class itself. So internet connectivity plays a major role. You are all sitting far away, and you as well as the professors are interconnected using internets. And now, even though this is latest technology where the connectivity makes a major role. Okay, so you should design an embedded system such that under any circumstances it should not fail. Okay, so based upon that only you have to select the networking, how you are going to connect. Okay, then comes port. I think we all might have heard this word port to port, where the ship try to take a material from one place to another place. So same meaning, that is why we are also saying port in microprocessor and microcontroller. So port is a place where you download or upload the material. Okay, so I have shown you in the figure, you are seeing a big vessel carrying more number of luggages, which is going to be downloaded to your port. Okay, now all the ships will not be permitted to a port, only if the system matches. Okay, see, if a ship is coming from China to some other place, there is so many navigation rules, we will try to pass all that things, then only that ship will be allowed inside that particular port. Okay, then you will transfer the content. See, for example, you are sending a courier to USA and this ship is starting from India, and this luggage should be downloaded only when the ship reach the USA. Ship might reach so many countries while its path. At that time, this consignment from Chennai should not be downloaded. Okay, so that is where similar case in embedded system also. So each and every data will be given with a particular unique address. Only if that address is matching, you will download, otherwise you will not make that content to get in to your controller. Okay, so then now there are two devices. So device 1 to receive the byte from the external peripheral like cranes, which is there in port, which will help you to take the content and keep it on the truck or railway track. See, you can see here there is even railway track, as well as there is some big vessel carrying transport system, where you will try to download the content from the ship to this particular carrier and you try to take it. Okay, so device 1 is to receive the byte from the external peripheral or device or a processor or a controller for reading them later using instruction execution of the processor. So I will get the data. So from where and all I can get the data is from the device or from the processor or from a controller. I have already told, in an embedded system we will use both processor as well as controller. When you will use processor is when you are handling more data, you go for a processor. When the data handling is less, you will go for controller. Okay, and the place where you are going to place your embedded, so based upon that you select processor or controller. Okay, then second one is to send the byte to the external peripheral or the device or the processor using instruction executed on the processor. So similarly in port, whatever content I want to upload to the ship, I will try to upload it. So this too is occurring in the place where called port. Okay, so you might have studied a port in 8085 last semester, and 8051 there you might have told that port A, port B, port C and port D. These are the various ports, and each ports are different. In some port we call it as bidirectional port, and some port we call it as unidirectional port, and some port is used only for transferring the signals. Okay, I think you might have studied 8255. It is a peripheral interface where port A, port B and port C might be there. Port A and port B is for bidirectional and port C is only for control, which means only from the information from port C I will decide whether you have to download or upload. If download, what type of download, and if it is uploading, what type of upload you are going to follow. All that things will be taken care in port. So this is same as what you are doing for your parcel service in port. Okay, then connect to the processor using address decoder and system bus. So from port I will connect to a processor with the help of address decoder and system bus. Processor use the address port register address for programming the port function or mode, reading port status, and for writing and reading bytes. So for this a best example is, again I will take 8051 microcontroller, which you might have studied. Okay, you might have studied already. So when you are using an 8085, all the peripherals are additional thing you might have added to your controller. So in that case there is a special space where I will go and write what type of mode it has to operate. So that is what we say. Port register is a register like a notebook where I will write what type of function I am going to do in the port, whether I am going to upload or I am going to download. So similar way you can understand, even when you go to Chennai Port Trust, there will be a register In that register they will write what is the ship name, from where it has arrived, whether you are going to upload to the ship or download to the ship, the same way. So same way it has been done in your processor and controller also. Port buffer is similar to your location where you temporarily store. Okay, in a port there will be a temporary location where for particular duration of time the content will be there, and again it will be uploaded to the ship or to the container. Okay, so buffer is nothing but a temporary location where you temporarily store the content. So this is usually done for speed mismatch. What is speed mismatch is, see, all the devices cannot work at the same speed. See, for example, when you take automobile, there is a center embedded system in automobile which take care of all other embedded system, and the center embedded system may work at faster speed. Okay, for example, even for better understand, I will say we all have laptops and all laptops is not working with same speed. So there is a speed mismatch will be there. One will use Pentium 1, another fellow might use Pentium 2, another fellow might use Pentium 4, and Pentium 4 will operate at 8 gigahertz or 3 gigahertz, and some other person may operate in 1 gigahertz. Now how we are going to transfer? One is working very fast, one is working relatively slow. So I will use a person called buffer. So from faster person, content will be temporarily stored in buffer and it will be slowly distributed. Okay, in vice versa is also possible. Slowly you fill the buffer. From the buffer at very faster rate, I will send it to a person who is operating at high speed. Okay, so that is the purpose of buffer. So I repeat, buffer is a temporary location where the content are stored. Why you want to temporarily store a content is, you can either a fast acting device will be connected to slow acting device or vice versa. Okay, now let us move on to various types of serial communication. So we are starting from very basic. Okay, so initially we start with serial, then we will parallel, then we will go with the latest protocols which is there. Okay, first one is serial input, then comes your serial output, then comes async. In serial I have two types. One is called as synchronous, another one is called as asynchronous. Okay, the term synchronous is one is in contact with other, or two person operating at same speed. Okay, there are some situation where the two person can operate with the same speed. Okay, there we call it as synchronous data transfer. In asynchronous data transfer, two person is not working at the same speed. For example, Google server and your laptop, you can understand that Google will be working at very faster, that is the processor in Google server will be operating at very faster speed than compared to your laptop. So there I cannot go for synchronous data transfer itself. So there I will go for asynchronous data transfer. In asynchronous data transfer, two different person operating at different speed can be used. So that is called asynchronous. So let us see one by one what is required for serious and synchronous serial data transfer and asynchronous serial data transfer. Then comes parallel. In case of parallel, I can use it parallel port multi-bit input and parallel port multi-bit output. I will say example for all this thing where you call it as parallel port input and where you call parallel port output also. Now let us start with synchronous. From the word synchronous, you should always remember that for a synchronous, a person clock is required. So for each and every clock, I will send the data or receive the data, which means I am working in synchronous. Only for that particular clock, I will send either 1 or 0. So each bit in each byte as well as each byte in is synchronized, which means if you have 8 bit, you say first you will send first bit, then second bit, then third bit, and you will go till 8th bit. So each and every bit for each and every clock. Okay, on same input lines, when clock pulse either encode or modulates serial data input receives based upon the clock pulse received. So between the two, the operating speed must be same. That is the major thing in case of serial communication. But I cannot connect all this in serial communication because one will be very fast and one will be very slow. So if I want to communicate with serial communication, then the faster person should be operated with slower speed. A best example is there is an LKG boy and a 12th standard boy. LKG boy will be very slow. A to Z itself he may take 5 minutes or 10 minutes to say. But think of a 12th standard student. If I take him and place him in an LKG classroom, then it is waste. He can operate at very high speed, but it is made to operate at a slower speed. So it is not as good networking method. So there I will go for asynchronous data transfer, because I am working at a very faster rate. So I will send the data at faster rate. The receiving person will have a buffer and slowly he will receive. So I can fastly send this data and go for some other job. I don't want to waste my time. See, a LKG student is there. If he says A, 12th student, even he can say A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. He can tell it at a faster rate. So in asynchronous, what is happening is, my speed, I am not coming down from my speed. I am operating in the same speed. So data will be sent to all with a lesser time. So that is the advantage of asynchronous. So now let us see in synchronous. You can see I have told clock is there. So clock should be sent for every input. For each and every clock you will get one data in, and data will start from I0 to I7, which is an 8-bit processor. 8-bit data is been done. So once the data comes in, then this data will be taken care by the data lines of that particular processor. Okay, internal data lines are always parallel, because you can send more number of data at a single clock itself. So that is where the advantage of parallel is. But I cannot connect two different controllers with the parallel data transfer, because more number of cables are required, then cost will go, as well as it is a tedious process. So interconnection of so for best example is, you can take a motherboard. So in motherboard, all the ICs are fabricated in a single board, where I will always go for parallel communication, because distance is small, so faster rate I can work. From the motherboard, if you want to get the data and send it to internet, I will only go for serial communication. Okay, so that is what for today's class. I repeatedly say, there is data transfer can be either serial or parallel. When you go for serial, there is two types. One is called synchronous, another one is called asynchronous. In synchronous, data is sent in continuous stream at a constant rate. That is what you have to always remember. What is that constant rate? For each and every clock, one content will be transferred. Both are operating at the same clock. Now I will give you examples. So example for synchronous is data transfer from CD to hard disk, audio input, video input, dial tone, network input, trans receiver, input scanner input, remote control input. All these are working in synchronous. Okay, in synchronous, I repeat, there are another subdivision like half duplex and full duplex. So just for refreshing, I will say, when you go for networking, I can either send the data serially or parallelly. Then under serially, there are two types. One is called synchronous and asynchronous. Under synchronous itself, I have two types. One is called half duplex, another one is called full duplex. In half duplex, best example is police walkie-talkie. Okay, so you will have a wire. In that wire, data can be sent only in one direction. Either you send out or you send in, and simultaneously send in and send out is not possible in case of half duplex. Whereas in full duplex, data will be sent in both the direction. You will send the data as well as you will receive the data. So that is called full duplex. This is a subdivision of synchronous. Okay, now let us move on to asynchronous. So in asynchronous, there is no required for clock. You should not draw any line connecting clock here. Okay, that alone you remember. Asynchronous, usually lecturer and students, usually there won't be any synchronous at all. If it is synchronous, then well and good. Always when professor takes something, we start thinking of something in our mind. So you are asynchronous with that particular data transfer. So we expect synchronism, but there will be always an asynchronism. So some lagging will be there. If I am telling fourth point, you will think about the first point. So in asynchronous data transfer, there is two person which is called DTE and DCE. DTE is terminal unit, DCE is at far end. So one is with you, another one is at the far end. So I will try to send the data. Now you will have a person called transmit and receive. Transmit will continuously transmit the data and receiver will continuously receive without any clock. So how you are going to match the speed? Now see, in synchronous, matching of two is easily possible because you add a clock. So for a clock you send the data. Since now clock is not there, I will follow a method called window method. So initially I will send 2, then I will try to send 3 packets, then I will try to send 3 packets, 4 packets, I will go on increase. At one instant I will receive the signal that last data is lost. So I will identify that is the speed at which he can receive. So further I should not increase the speed, I should go with that particular speed itself in transferring the data. So that is called for asynchronous. Okay. So does not receive the clock pulse or clock information along with the byte. So when at the receiving end there won't be any clock pulse and all, so you will not have any clock information in asynchronous. Each bit is received in each byte at a fixed interval, but each received byte is not synchronizing. So if you want to see, when you open a page in your Google Chrome, let us assume you are typing www.google.com, then your Google page is there. Again you type some other thing and try to search. When you search this, I think you might have seen like an image will be like cross mark. You are unable to view that image, like cross mark will be there on the image saying that that image is not been received. That is because it is sent in asynchronous fashion. So the page which you are viewing is sent from Google, not on a single path. So the entire content of the page will be sent via different path, and it will be received by your computer, and then it will be arranged in sequence, so you see the entire screen. So under asynchronous there is a chance for packet loss, and we will report that this particular packet of data is not being reached to us. So aserial we will also called as UART, that is universal asynchronous data transfer. So all these terms you should remember, because when you are asked multiple choice questions, you should know what is called UART, what is the subdivision under asynchronous and all. Now I will tell you some examples of asynchronous input, not output, asynchronous input I am saying. So asynchronous input is like keyboard. Can you tell me that I will always use my keyboard? Obviously I will not. So obviously it cannot be in synchronous. Suddenly I will type something, suddenly I will keep silent. So which means it is that you cannot say data will be always sent with a clock. So only asynchronous is possible. Then modem, that is internet. Again internet also I will not continuously upload or download. I will, whenever I require, I will go, I will search for something. So there also there is no synchronization, and it is not mandatory that I should open a particular page alone. Okay. One can use Yahoo as a mail, one can use Gmail, one can use Rocket Mail or some other mail providers. So there synchronism is not at all possible. Okay. Then comes your keyboard controller. When keyboard itself, then keyboard controller is also working in asynchronous. So these are some asynchronous input devices. Okay. So now we should know the protocol for UART. So whenever you say asynchronous, there is only one line present, there is no clock. So you have to say which is the start bit. Start bit is the first bit. So this particular type of hash, you can see it is there in the first as well as in the last. So this is going to tell about start, and this is going to tell stop. It is likely compressed lines, whereas there is some gap between the lines. So that is the identification between start bit and stop bit. Then one more thing which is required is parity bit. Parity bit is nothing but how many bit I am sending, whether I am sending even number of bits or odd number of bits. See, for example, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. So what will be the value sent here is, it will be sent as even parity. If it is 1, it is even. If it is 0, it is odd parity. So at the receiving end, if I receive 1 here and if I receive only 7 packets, then I will come to know 1 packet is lost. So okay, then I will arrange it and I will tell that I have lost a packet with the number of what number has been lost. So that is for identification purpose. I repeat, you will have a start bit, you will have a stop bit, you will have a parity bit, followed by remaining bits are nothing but your data. So you can see these types of lines is put to say that it is data. I repeat, difference between synchronous and asynchronous. In case of synchronous, you will have a clock. For each and every clock you will send data. So in asynchronous there is no clock at all. So your start bit will be there, followed by number of bits, then parity bit and stop bit. So it is only I will send everything in terms of a packet. So I will say what is packet is, a packet should have a start bit and should have a stop bit, and it should have a data in it, and parity is optional. In some case I will say what is the parity, whether even parity or odd parity. In some case I will not tell at all. Okay. Then starting point of the receiving of byte of each byte is indicated by a line transition from 1 to 0. So bit again I am saying here is either it can store 1 or 0. If it is this is 1 and this is 0, from higher to lower it will go, stay in lower for a particular time, again it will go to high. So this is how the data will be sent. So that is what they are saying here. Next, in asynchronous serial output example, so each bit in each byte transmitted in a fixed interval, but each out bit is not synchronized. You don't have any synchronization and all. The minimum separation is one stop bit interval. So that's the first packet to second packet. If I am sending first packet, obviously the last bit should be a stop bit, and then only I can again start. So without stop bit I cannot stop and start. Okay. The off duplex I have told already. Off duplex is your walkie-talkie. I think you might have said you will press the switch, then you will talk, and then he will say over and he will release. Till that over he says, another person has to only hear and he cannot talk. Okay, that is called off duplex. And your radio channel 98.3, can you talk to Radio Mirchi person or Suryan FM person? No, it is only off duplex. There is a place where you send the radio signal, that's all, only one direction, and reverse is not at all there. And when you want to go for reverse, this person has to go to receiving mode and then you have to receive. So that you will see in walkie-talkie where all the police will be given having the kit, or at least at one time only one person can speak and all other can listen. Then after he says over, the next person will press the button and then he will try to talk. Then after he says over, any other person can take the line. But only thing, at a particular time only one person can use the line. All other person can only receive. So that is called off duplex. Initial days, in olden days, our telephone lines was off duplex, which means in that case how you say off duplex is when I try to call any one particular person, then no other person can call to that particular person unless otherwise my communication is over. Okay, nowadays you have a second line and all. So when you are communicating with another person and if some other is tried to call, then automatically his number will also be visible. So you can say some person is calling me, I want to attend, I will come back, and then you can cut. But in olden days that is not possible. Rather you will get a sound called engaged sound. When you hear that engaged sound, it is understood that that person is communicating with some other person and you cannot intimate that you are calling him unless otherwise that two fellow disconnects the line. You cannot communicate with him. So you have to repeatedly, you have to go on dialing, but that two person who was there in communication will not come to know that there is a second line coming. So that is the disadvantage in off duplex. And nowadays we doesn't use off duplex, and nowadays even our telephone lines are asynchronous mode. It is operating only in asynchronous. Initially it was in synchronous mode. Okay, then full duplex means that at instant the communication can be both way. At an instant, that is the more thing important. At a say time t is equal to 10 seconds. So at that time itself both the person can communicate in the same line. Example for full duplex is asynchronous mode of communication in communication between modem and computer through RxD and RxT and D. We all know that when you are using your internet for in your computer, where simultaneously some content from your system will be uploaded through the net and you will download some content simultaneously. So that is called full duplex. Okay, so this is available even in 8051 microcontroller itself. Then comes your parallel port. So I again refresh what we have seen today. So we have started with network, which means how you are going to interconnect a two person. The two person may be controller itself or one controller and one IC or any electronic IC or any type of sensor. How you are going to communicate between the two. So we started saying that communication between two can be either serial or parallel. In case of serial, again I subdivide into synchronous and asynchronous. In synchronous, clock is required So we will identify a common speed between two, and that speed we will fix it, and in that speed we will try to communicate between two. Even though one might be faster or slower, we will decide a particular speed, and that particular speed the communication will be there. That is case of synchronous. Okay, again in both the synchronous and asynchronous, your half duplex and full duplex is possible. So you can write the subdivision under both the column, both as well as in synchronous as well as in asynchronous column you can write. Okay, in case of asynchronous, what we say, there is no clock. This is being introduced when two person is not operating in the same speed. Okay, one for that I have told an example of Google server. A Google server will operate at a very high speed when compared to your local system, but you need the data transfer between the two. In that case, I will go only for asynchronous. So let us assume that I have to send 100 packets. So what I will do is, each packet I will put an address for the each packet, and I will send it via internet, and the person who is have to receive all the packets, and then he have to open it and use. Okay, so that is example I have told, Google server and your local system. So now after seeing all your serial communication, let us move on to parallel communication. Whereas in parallel, ADC input from liquid level measuring sensor, when you have any level measure sensor, like water tank, you want to measure how much is the water level, then you put an ADC. Obviously your ADC will have a digital data, so obviously digital will be parallel, so you try to get parallel data from that. Then similarly, measuring the speed of the motor, where you use encoders. When you go for measuring the speed digitally, I will go for encoders, and this encoder will give output usually in parallel. Okay, then comes your parallel output. That was input. So input I told from your water tank sensor, or similarly I have told one more example. When you go for parallel output, the best example is printer controller output, stepper motor coil driving bit. So from microprocessor I have to give output to the stepper motor. Stepper motor usually you will have 4 phase, 6 phase, 8 phase. So simultaneously I have to give to all phase, so which is nothing but parallel. I cannot say I will send to first phase, wait for a time and send to second phase and all. That is not possible. So it is in parallel. Again, there is, you might have studied this PPI, program peripheral program interface 8255. That is an example for parallel output. And touchscreen in your mobile phone. In your mobile phone, there is no mandatory that you have to touch only at the center or touch only at the corner at an instant, or touch from the top to bottom in a sequence way. That and all is not possible. Wherever I want, I will touch in my mobile phone. So remaining all will be 0, that will be 1, will be sent as a parallel input to my controller. So that is what I say as parallel. So the conclusion is, I cannot say series is better, omit parallel, or parallel is better, omit serial. That is not there. Depending upon the application, either we say parallel or we say it as serial. Some application required parallel, some application required serial. Again I repeat, you cannot say you can go for synchronous or asynchronous. Depending upon the application, we go for synchronous and asynchronous. So with this, I think we can wind up for today's class. So we have discussed about an introduction to networking in an embedded system. So networking in embedded system started from how we are going to connect. So how we are going to connect is by serial or parallel. So if it is parallel, how we are connecting, if serial, how we are connecting. So this is about today's class. Do you have any doubts? I have repeatedly